Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Leslie. If you haven't been here before, you've wandered across my little corner of the internet. Today is going to be a combination of checking things off the list, showing you a 3D project, and answering a couple of questions. Number one being, after my video the other day, what about this? Where do I store it? It's a lot of goodies that come in one box, but do I keep the boxes? The answer is no. I love the boxes and I keep them and I use them for gift giving because they have beautiful design on them. But this stuff here, I can't possibly keep all the boxes for. I get a box from Spellbinders, I get a kit box from Pink and Main, and Stamps of Life. So that's a lot of boxes. Pink and Main and Stamps of Life both use pizza style boxes, and this one Spellbinders uses a normal style of box. I use all three for Christmas, birthday, gift giving boxes. But where does that leave this pile of goodies? Well, let's talk about it. I went online and I bought a bunch of these envelopes. I'm a very basic storage girly. I need it straightforward and easy for my mind to pick out. So on this envelope, which comes in a variety of sizes, I've written the month, the year, what the theme was, and who it was from, Spellbinders. And then I simply take all of these and they fit right inside. Now, what happens if I'm opening this and the plastic rips? That's easy. As I said, comes in a bunch of different sizes. So what I will do is I will cut the bottom here off. And it's got what pieces I should have. And I will put it in one of the small envelopes with my loose dies. And I will place that envelope in here also. Nice zip up top. Everything's safe and sound. And it's ready to go in its slot. But now you're saying you've got all this stuff. Yes, I do. I have 3 other items. I have the glimmer foil, the wax seals, and the wax. Well, these each have storage boxes. I label them with the month because for me, the month on there is too small. And so they get stored in their storage boxes. Okay, they don't necessarily get used with the theme that they came with, so it's good to do that. Now, what else are we doing today? We have a 3D print on the go. It's a zombie, I believe, type of keychain little character thing. And I have one down here below me to show you. But first, we are going to swing you around to the auto press. And I'll go through today's project with you. All right, guys, for today's project, it's going to be using up some of my infusible ink that comes from Cricut. It looks like this when you take it out of the box. And I'm going to be putting it on some square coasters, also from Cricut. My disappointment in these coasters is they are not as thick and sturdy as the round ones. And the cork on the back isn't the best. As you can see there, it already started to crumble off. In the package, I found the piece and I kind of super glued it there. Hopefully it'll work for the season. I have chosen to do 4, so I am laying them out here. on the heat press, just like so. This will flatten once we get going. That up a bit. But I have the 4 laid there. I have a protective cover over my cushion. I always will. And I am using some of the parchment paper over all 4 coasters because our infusible ink, all things working properly, our infusible ink will infuse to the coasters, but all the extra all around needs somewhere to go. And then I am protecting the machine top even more by placing down another cover. Now this has to go up to 400 degrees and press for 70 or 50 seconds. I'm sorry. So I'm going to step past the camera. 50 seconds and it's heating up. Now, the one thing about the auto press is it does take time for it to heat up. A little bit longer maybe than your easy press takes. I will tell you that I used my easy press to try a coaster and it said I needed to do 380, which is its highest temperature, for 120 seconds. Unfortunately for me, it did not work. It didn't even begin to transfer my infusible ink onto my coasters. So I have moved over to the big boy. That does not mean that it will not work with an easy press. It just means that I need to try again, possibly putting a lot more pressure onto my easy press. But in the interest of time, we are just going to move on to the bigger one. I'm going to let it heat up and I will be right back. Okay, while we're letting this heat up, I know that I am going to get this question because I get it quite a bit. Where do I get my temperatures and how long it takes? Well, first I try the Cricut Heat Press Guide. It is online. You select your machine from the top down, or drop down, sorry, and you select your material from the top drop down, and it gives you the steps, the times, and the temperatures that you need to do your project. If I cannot find what I want on the Cricut Heat Guide, then my second go-to is Jennifer Maker. I really do love her sublimation book. I love her Cricut book, her handbook, hand guide. I think I don't remember the exact name. I love them both. And I will be purchasing more of her books as time goes on. I do find it handy to have them in the book format, like the PDF, and then I print it out because as I go, if I need a project, it's right there at my fingertips. I do not, however, print out every page. There are so many pages to each of her books. And there is a lot of sublimation stuff that I would not be sublimating on. So I print out what I need in the moment. I punch it, I put it into my book, and it's there for each and every time. So those are my 2 main sources. If you can't find it there, I suggest hopping onto the YouTubes and watching a couple of videos on how to do it by the professionals. And I'm not including myself in that by any means. Like I said, this does take a while to heat up. It is still only at 350, so I will come back when it's heated up. Okay, guys, I'm back. And my heat press is heated up to 400 and it does read 50 seconds. So I'm just going to set that there and we'll get started with our press. So we just want to take the handle here and pull down and lock. So this piece here drops down and allows it to lock into place. And now because it's auto pressure, we just wait. There may be some, like any project, gases coming off of it. I have ventilation in the studio, so I can safely do these things. Um, if you don't have, if you're worried about it, grab a fan, place it in a window, and vent out the window. That'll work too. Now we're down to 13 seconds, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should tell you. We are going to swing back around, like I said, and look at both the 3D project and this project. I love that this opens that way. I don't have to worry if I'm not here in the second that it pops up or it's complete. And I can now go ahead, check to be sure that my project has transferred. I'm just going to grab a pair of heat gloves and we will give a peek. Okay, what I'm going to do is turn it upside down and I am going to do a redo because it barely transferred. Okay, so let's do our redo. And this is what it's all about, guys. Experimenting. Not everything is going to work exactly the way that you want it every time. So here we go again. And this time I will pause you while it does its thing and I will return when we are done. And fingers crossed, it has worked. Okay, guys, we are back and these are cool to the touch. Thank you, Glass Matte. We will peel them up and let's hope that our design transferred this time. I think I know what I did wrong, and if it transferred, I am correct and will tell you. Look at this, guys. We have a beautiful coaster, and I will show you the difference. Here's where the heat was lined up and where the coaster was. Okay, let me rephrase this. Here is where you see where the coaster was. Here is without the heat being applied to something. So even though it heated up, it was not being applied to anything, and so it kept its color. All right, now I'm excited to see this one, because one thing I do love about Cricut and their infusible ink, they make a project very quick and very beautiful. Do you need a heat press? No. Did the first time fail on us? Yes, and I will tell you why. When I put it in the heat press, I put it that way. What am I pressing? I'm pressing the cork. When you're doing these, make sure that they go this side up. I am so used to laying things the other way that I forgot to do it in reverse so that the heat was directly on the back of my infusible ink. Once again, we know it works. Look at that. Everything's off. And my coaster turned out beautifully. So not disappointed in that at all. And what I did was kind of a two of each one matching poster set. They are a Christmas gift, but I'm considering keeping them for myself, using the same infusible ink and redoing them as round coasters because I really do like the quality of the round coasters better. Of course, the round coasters are ceramic, and so that is a decision that you have to make. So let's have a look here. We have our two reds and our two multis. And I really, really, really like the way these turned out. So that is a project done, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 seconds in the auto press, or 380 for 120 seconds on the easy press. If you forget these numbers or something needs to be changed, look at your Cricut heat guide, okay guys? It's available online, it's totally free. Now the other thing I wanted to show you when I pressed these, and I said the infusible ink would get onto things, here we go. This did not ruin this. I could still use it for keeping my surfaces clean, for painting on, and so forth. I just will not use it with my heat press again, simply because it would transfer or could transfer that ink to another project. Speaking of other projects, now that we've completed that one, we will talk about our little guy here. Now he was done on the A1 out of PLA. Okay, so just out of normal PLA filament. However, the brown was a PLA wood, and that is why you see all that stringing. It is kind of a hard to describe. It almost feels like, how can I describe it? Like cardboard that's being pushed together rather than like the plastic filament. However, it works beautifully. So this little guy is called Mummy 3D Flexi Forge. And of course it came from 3D Flexi Forge on Patreon. And the way that I get rid of these strings, some of you have been asking me in other videos, is quite simple. I have a little torch here. I simply light her up. And don't stop in one spot. You will melt your PLA if you simply stop. I like doing it on the heat plate because I know it can take the heat. Whoops. There we go. I kind of like that. I wonder if I can achieve it on the other side. Whoops. Come on down. I kind of like the way that looks on his little shirt. Where I melted some of the PLA. There we go. Well, and it gives it some detail. I might do it to the top. I will let this little guy cool down. He's quite hot. Now to get him off, it's just a simple plate crack and lift. And then this stuff all gets cleaned off. Now, like I said, he has an accessory, and it is a grave or a tombstone, if you want to call it that he comes out of. He just lays in there and the top opens and it looks like he's popping out. So there we go, guys. I will show you that. Now, he was a Patreon. He was not, unfortunately, a freebie. But I don't mind supporting people, designers on Patreon, when this is the quality that I get. I love this guy. I am going to burn his hat a little like I did here, just to give it more detail. So, oh, you're still hotty hot. Let's give it a quick burn. Now, if you do not have proper air ventilation in your area that you're working, I would say if you want to do something like adding highlights like that, you might want to go ahead and do it outside so that you're not breathing in, there we go, the chemical. So there he is, guys. I just love the way he turned out. If you do decide to do the highlights like I did, please be very careful that you don't melt the rest of your little guy. So next, I will be going ahead and getting his uh, coffin ready. And we'll get that printed off. Ooh, he's hot, hot, hot. So anything else I have to tell you today? Of course there is. It is the beginning of fall. I hope you guys get to go out and enjoy some of the lovely weather that fall brings us. I'm excited to see those autumn colors coming out. I hope you are too. I am finding myself more and more cuddling up, cozy, with a cup of tea and a good book. I have 3 fantasy books on the go right now. Loving every one of them. And so there's lots to be done, both in the studio and outside of the studio. Have a great day, guys. And I hope to see you in whatever comes next. Bye.